G'day guys, my name's Josh. You can call me Woodle, and welcome back once again to 7 Days to Die in the brand new Alpha 18 update, where I am back in my testing world to try and find out what the best Horde base is. It's something that I've been working on for a while, both with Alpha 17 and now Alpha 18, to try and tinker with some things, work on some ideas, and try and figure out how we can kind of outsmart the Horde. What is going to be the most cost efficient, resource efficient, and time and probably life efficient base that you can build to try and survive the Horde. And there's lots of things that they've taken out from Alpha 17 and things that they've added for Alpha 18, which has kind of changed that idea a little bit from what it used to be. The killing corridor, which is over there, was and probably still is the best base that you could build in Alpha 17, especially. But coming into Alpha 18, it's got some chinks in its armor that we need to try and figure out and like paste over with some great flavored bubblegum. But before I go and do some base building and base testing, before I go out into the big wide world, we need to head into the Hall of Legends once again to say thank you to another couple of legends for all that they have done for me. And today we are thanking Andrew C, Daniel D, and Mr. Joe 6. We're starting to fill up the hall a little bit. It's what, almost halfway done. I think there's still lots and lots of signs to go, plus all the signs up on the board of honors up in the MVP tower as well. Lots to do, but thank you to you three for all you have done. Thank you to everyone else for all your support, for making Jawoodle possible. I appreciate it from the absolute bottom of my heart. You guys are freaking fantastic. Okay, with that done, let's go out. Let's find a spot. Where am I going to build the new base? There's this nice little flat plateau here, which is kind of on the outskirts of the main Jawoodle Park area right now, but it's right next to the zombie cannon. And all I gotta do now, if I'm next to the zombie cannon, I gotta fire the zombie cannon. There we go. Got my Chelsea in the chamber, ready to go now. As we learnt in the last episode I filmed it here, which was the penetrating arrow episode, you don't actually need to have it right in the center to get a reasonably good shot. She still went on the board. She went through the board, still got a 0, but she still went in generally the right direction. So far, in my unofficial scoring, I've got a 5, which was a perfect swish, which was pretty freaking fantastic, and then a 0. So this time, oh, that was the wrong button. This time, I'm hoping to get something out of it. Drop the grenade in. All right, Colin Chelsea, what are you gonna do this time? How you gonna go? She's going, she's up, she's good, she's looking pretty straight. She's just a little left. Oh, she clipped her dome. There's a blood splatter on the edge of the board right there. She clipped her head on the way through. I hope that ponytail was done up tight and you got some sort of cushioning out of that, because otherwise you just spattered whatever was left of your brains all over my lovely brand new skiboard board. That would be very, very rude, Chelsea. You shouldn't be doing that. All right, so 5 points for the first one, 0 points for the next 2. That's some awful shooting. There we go. Where, I mean, look, I'm going to keep playing that game. We're going to end up with a score eventually. It's a whole lot of fun. I quite enjoy it. Right, that done. Let's clear out some of this terrain here. Let's start building, because today's going to be pretty special. It's kind of a reference or like a harken back to a thing I built back in Alpha 17, which you already know what I'm referring to. But I like to pretend that I haven't spoiled anything yet. So I want to start building, I want to start preparing, and start getting my idea into the game. I'm going to build this one out of just regular concrete. Normally I use stainless steel for no other reason other than it's just easy to go to the stainless steel menu and all the different options are there. That's really the only reason I build it out of stainless. You can't get stainless, I don't think, in normal survival anymore. But I build out of it because it's nice and strong and it's easy and it just makes my life that little bit easier. But for today, because this might end up being something that I want to build in survival, like block for block, like not just like an idea. Normally when I build these things, I'm just kind of giving you guys an idea and you can implement it into your base however you want. This time, I think this is, I'm testing into something for me this time. I want to know if this is actually a viable option for me down the road. So this is going to be built out of concrete for a change. We're going to build it just like this. How wide? In fact, I'm thinking I might even go... Oh, actually, I might do something real cheeky. I might go 3 wide. The old chunky corridor that I've tested before, but it's going to be a little bit different. It is going to be a corridor-esque design, not a corridor itself, not the traditional design like those over there with the 1/8 block drop and all that kind of stuff. It will be something kind of similar along the same kind of vein, but not the same as that precisely. So I'm going to build this up, which is all very exciting. It's been a while since I built something completely new. Well, not completely new, but like something that like took on a new form than just kind of a way to power the zombies to a certain point and then stop them from getting to. That's all the corridor is. You make them act reliably and the same every time, and then you put in some sort of buffer to keep yourself safe. That's all that is, but this is going to be good. I'm excited for this one. I know how I was just talking about how I wasn't going to do a standard drop, but I just kind of had a brainwave that I'm not sure about. So for now, I'm just going to build a regular drop over here. This is not the permanent end goal here. This is not what I want to have at the end of this base here. But the thing I have in my head is going to require some testing and some ideas unto itself. So I'm just going to leave this one here as kind of like a default, kind of like just a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. Yeah, just kind of a blank space for me to add something to a little bit later down the track. So don't hate me too much for going back on my word. That will get replaced with something, I promise, that'll just have to happen in a different episode down the line. Not to, you know, not to tease the future too much. That could go like that. I'll put some ramps underneath to make it look all nice and spick and span, except, oh, actually, no, I kind of like that, actually. I was going to go ramps because I had the ramps separating on the other side, but like that block, like that blocky kind of finish to it, I actually quite like that. For once in my life, I'm going to go with straight, like, blocky lines instead of some smooth, rampy, curvy lines. I never thought I'd say, but I don't want curves. But apparently right now, I just don't want curves. There we go. That can sound like that. That will be fine for what I need. All right, let's keep on building. This is where it's about to start getting interesting, because this is where all of the ideas in my head are going to come together, and it's either going to fail spectacularly, and you could all laugh at my expense, or maybe, well, I was going to say maybe I won't put this episode out. Of course I'll put this episode out. When have I ever not embarrassed myself for your guys' amusement? So it's either going to fail miserably, or it's going to be a rousing success, and I'll feel like a legend, and you'll still laugh at my expense. So either way, you're going to laugh. I just might get a base out of it. For this build, I'm going to have to use a couple of things that I haven't really used before. I'm going to use the stairs 50, which is pretty unusual for me. And I'm also going to get myself a gable, which is an interesting block. Unusual, but I feel like it's going to be able to serve a pretty good purpose for me. I just can't decide how much I want it. So I'll get like a little quarter one. Like, is there like a concrete regular one as well? Something not a full height one, just like a half one. Wood gable, corrugated iron. Anything in here that's going to do the job for me? No, you gotta be a pain in my frickin' asshole. Yep, okay, of course you are. Because why wouldn't you be? What's this thing called? Metal, it's just corrugated metal. Alright, fine. Let's get that one. Let's just compare some sizes here. I mean, comparing sizes is normally a guy's worst nightmare, but in this case, I feel like that might do the trick. Let's get the stairs over here as well, like that. Okay, alright, this is coming together reasonably well. Let's put them down here so I can actually see. So what, that's like a quarter block height. That's a half block height. All right, I want the half blocks. So can I upgrade? I need a hammer. Can I upgrade this stupid metal one into something that's actually usable? I want it to be concrete. I don't want to lose it because it's made out of freaking iron. The fact that I can't find exactly what I'm looking for inside the menu makes me think that maybe they've seen this coming and have made that an option that I can't actually have. Oh, actually, in fact, can I even? See, this has to be made in corrupt. I can't even make gables in survival. Interesting. That hurts my plans a little bit. What about like, no, can't make pyramids. God, you're really razzing my turkeys right now, fun peeps. You're really giving them a razzle. You're pulling out their tail feathers and you're stroking the little dangly bits under their chins and you're really pissing them off. Why can't you let me craft fun, interesting blocks in survival? I want to make fun and attractive bases that are aesthetically pleasing while I'm fighting off hordes. Why are you taking away the blocks that are going to enable me to do that? That's throwing a kitten in the fiddles. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? Truth, this is going to be interesting. I've given myself a stack of wet concrete blocks just to see what I do actually have available to me. Oh, I do have gables. Okay, good. Okay, so you can still make it that way, which kind of saves me a little bit. Alright, so let's get some gables then. Let's get some normal gables. They're not going to be as tall as I wanted them, but they should still do the trick. Where are they? Concrete gables. That's the one there. Get you out of the way. And just on the lip here, we're going to go like that. I'm glad that I went and double checked that. You can't craft them separately in the actual crafting menu, but you can get them in the new way of making blocks. So you get the stack of them, which is what you get when you create concrete blocks, and you press R, and you get like the block menu. So you still get all the fancy blocks. I thought I took away from me. I was getting real mad. I take back everything I said about you fun peeps. I love you just as much as ever. In fact, let's go... let's go like this. So this is where it's going to start getting interesting. This is where my plan's going to come into fruition, and I'm hoping it's going to work because I'm trying to tinker with an old design, an old idea, and get it to work a little bit better because there was lots of flaws in the previous idea, but this one should hopefully like patch over those holes with a nice skin-colored band-aid, or concrete-colored band-aid, I suppose, in this case. So here's where the idea itself is going to start actually taking shape. All the way down to there, build a nice big lip just down like that, go up the other side as well, and all the way along here too. So, in Alpha 17, one of the more fun bases I built was the Pool of Death, which was a horde base using some water mechanics to slow down the zombies so that you could take your time shooting them. The biggest problem was the zombies sank too far down into the water, making headshots and killing and like dogs and crawlers and all that kind of stuff a bit more of a pain in the ass than they probably needed to be. But now in Alpha 18, when they have got rid of the barbed wire, and they have got rid of the barbed wire, people keep trying to say in the comments that you can still craft it if you find the schematic from somewhere. You can't. That schematic is for the mod, and the only barbed wire you can actually craft now is here. Yes, you can still find it in the creative menu. However, if you're using the creative menu, I don't need to tell you what you can and can't use, because you could use the stuff that doesn't exist anymore, like stainless steel or barbed wire. So you can still find it there in the creative menu, but you cannot find it in your normal crafting menu. That is just not an option anymore, which is a shame, because that was used pretty extensively through a lot of bases to try and slow the zombies down, to try, you got more time to actually kill them. If for some reason, by the way, if it changes and the fun peeps put barbed wire back into the game, I will be super excited, and someone please let me know if that happens, because I will jump right out of my skin. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. They took it away, I think, as a deliberate measure, because the only time people were using it was to try and slow down the zombies to get a better shot at killing them without the barbed wire actually taking any damage, because it affected the whole block, not just the wire itself. So, with all that taken into account, we need a way to slow down some zombies. We need a way to do it that isn't going to ruin our chances of killing them. So I'm thinking, what happens if we make a slightly shallower pool of death, but it still enables us to get nice headshots, but also doesn't stop the zombies from like jumping out of the water and causing some issues. So there's lots to be done, lots to be built. I'm building this like channel here to be almost filled with water and also keep the zombies inside, don't want them jumping out at the final moment when you're firing the last of your arrows. You want to make sure you're hitting all your shots when you take those shots. So I'm going to build this up a little bit higher, put some water in it and see how it goes. This is where my idea will either get broken or broken. There's a good chance this will not work out for me and I have to like try something new, but this is kind of what I had in my head, so this is what I want to try first. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Yes, this is a rather long, or basically effectively the same killing corridor as normal. I like the little like tips on the top, makes it look a bit more aesthetic. Looks the same as that one over there, but it's a little bit different in that this is going to be all filled with water in a second, which is why I wanted the gables down the end here, but fate would have it, and it just took that away from me. If I could probably still get that nice little lip going if I go like this, and then do I still have, I do not. Let's get myself some wedges, just the normal wedges ought to do. Oh, fine, do it that way then. Concrete wedges. Why don't I use concrete? Because it's too much effort to go through and find the right blocks. Go stainless steel, everything's right there for me right at the start. So we'll get that one, and we'll go like that all across there, and then on the other side we'll just go a ramp, I suppose. In fact, I'll probably go stairs. Another layer of stairs, never heard anyone like that because the zombies like stairs better. And there we go. Now we have like a proper basin in here that isn't going, hopefully, if the water obeys the laws of any sort of physics, shouldn't let the water spill out. So let's get some water. Let's get the water POI blocks. Now, I know, I say you can do this in survival. You can do this in survival. You would just need to get a lot of buckets and find a water source nearby. I can't be asked doing that. I'm on a, my time budget is rather limited, so I have to do what I can with what I've got. And that is just to put a bunch of water along the bottom like that. I don't want it to be deep because I don't want it to cover up any crawlers or dogs or anything like that. I just want to be deep enough to get that slow down effect. That seems to be working well. Is it leaking underneath? Oh, I mean, a little bit. That's okay. We can get some hay bales and we can just quickly just sop all that up. You use hay bales because you can pick them up easier. Doesn't really matter in creative, but in a normal game, you can pick up the hay bales far easier than you can like any other block. Alright, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. That looks like it might actually work straight off the bat. So you can see the reason that I wanted to build like a half block trench in here, use all the half blocks down the bottom, is because then, oh, it slows me in, which should slow the zombies down. Because then when a dog cruises through here, like if I get a zombie dog in here, and I go look at me, and I go spawn you in. Yes, look at that. Your head's still popping up above the water. So when I'm over here, up on my, oh, it's still a tough shot though. That's a reasonably tough shot. Oh, interesting. Is there like a 3/4 block in there somewhere? Can I go 3/4? No? Oh, okay. Well, we'll give that a crack. We'll spawn in a bunch of... Okay, we'll kill all. We'll spawn in a bunch of dogs, and we'll see how we go with it. And then we'll try again if I can't shoot any of them. So let's get out here. Let's just go a bunch of zombie dogs. Nothing but a zombie dog horde. Yep, that's a lot of dogs. Okay, I was going to have to give myself a gun. What am I going to give myself? Let's go an AK-47, I feel like. Or actually, let's go a little bit better. Let's go marksman rifle, and we'll just bang a reflex sight on top of that one with some 7.62, just so I can place some shots. You know, I haven't decided what my favorite gun is going to be. In Alpha 18, they did nerf the shotguns by giving us a double barrel, and I mean, it's a little more difficult to use. Doesn't do as much damage. I got murdered by a Piggly-Winks because he just ate my shotgun rounds. Didn't actually kill me, but he got close enough. All right, guns are ready. Yep, one shot ought to do it. Alright, come on, puppies. Everyone come over here. You're supposed to... You gotta come this way. Oi, dick bags. You want some bones? Come chew on my shins over this side. You gotta go through the water first. Alright, here we go. Up onto the top, please. Oh, yep, up they go. And into the water. And you can still get all your headshots. They kind of bound across each other's heads, which is interesting. But look how slow they're moving. Look at that. They're moving so slow. That gives you a chance. I mean, look, it's hitting a dog is a relatively tough shot. And it's always going to be until they get to the end there, apparently. In which case, they kind of emerge from the water. And then you've got all the time in the world to shoot them right in their stupid snouts. But look, that's going to be a tough shot. And I get that. Let's get some crawlers in there. A couple of crawlers like that. There we go. They're all on top of each other. That's okay. Get their attention. Make sure they're all coming for me. Let's kill the crawlers that are up on the top. Oh, he's dived down. Alright, so crawlers are still going to be an issue, but the bonus with this is always going to be at the very other end when they come out on this side over here. Look at that, the head pops out, boom, you nail them right in the schnoz, right in the snout, boom, right in the other schnoz, except he's hiding behind the carcass of one of his doggy puppy pals. That works pretty well. I wasn't expecting it to work that well straight off the bat. I reckon I can still tinker with it a little bit and make it a little bit better. But the whole goal of this was to make it viable to... Oh, actually, did I just shoot through the water? That could be really interesting. Let's get some dogs. The whole goal of this was to make it so that the smaller enemies that are traditionally harder to hit can be hittable again. And it seems like that might be the case. All right, where's the dogs? Yep, come on, pop up the top, into the water. I'm trying to aim through the water. I need to reload. If I can shoot them through the water now, that makes it even better. And it seems like I can. That's so much better. Oh, it's even better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have to hit a whole bunch of shots right in between the ears, right in the top of their skulls. But it turns out you can just shoot through the water. That makes it so much better. Look at that. That guy right at the end. Boom. Don't worry about it. I can hit you from distance. And I don't know why that is. Maybe they've just taken out the fact that water is like bulletproof, because it was bulletproof in Alpha 17. And they were always tough shots. But look at that. I couldn't even see that guy and I could still shoot him. Oh, that makes it far more interesting and far more viable. The water slowdown base might actually work a whole lot better now. That's very interesting. So I'm trying to think about how I can get them to pop just a little bit more out of the water. I mean, look, you can shoot through the water and that's fantastic, but trying to spot your target in amongst all that reflectivey bullshit is a little bit difficult. So if you get them to pop out of the water, you can probably get a better shot at them. What are some of the new blocks? There's a lot of new blocks in Alpha 18 as well. I'm trying to think of anything that might be a 3/4. So maybe like, I think narrow gives you some pretty interesting stuff. What have we got in here? Wedge high, mid, so maybe, oh, maybe one of those. That might be the go. Okay, we can refill the water later. That will be fine. Let's go up here. In fact, let's just go like this and go from there all the way down to here. Will that get rid of the water for me as well? I hope so. Yes, it does. Okay. How is this going to work? Because this is like one of the new blocks I haven't really done anything with before. So it's going, it's effectively that peak there is a 3/4 block. It's going from half height. Is there more water around? Oh, there's water there. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's going from a half height block up to a 3/4 height block. Like you can see there, it sits just below. So if I get a whole bunch of these going along like that. Now these are really good because if you're using bikes and stuff, it's got a much, it's now the lowest slanting block you can get. The lowest gradient. So normally it used to be the wedge tips. These are even finer than the wedge tips. Like 3 blocks to go up 1 meter, which is very, very useful. That's gonna have to do like that. I'm gonna get a half block and put it in the middle. middle. But if I just make a whole little chain of these all the way along, will that pop the crawlers' heads up enough that I'll be able to shoot them? As I say all the time, there's only one way to find it, and that's to build it. But I'm a little bit nervous about this. Making wavy platforms underneath generally haven't worked well for me in the past, mostly because I'm a rubbish shot and having the zombies move around and not be in a straight line is generally bad news bears. But like that, I mean, they're not moving too much. You could probably get it done, you know? All of that is a moot point, though, unless the water sits where it needs to be. A moot point. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't even matter. Just go down here and put it's sitting pretty nicely. So we're getting, like, what? Like 25 centimeters of water at the peak of that. I say 25 centimeters because they're 1 meter tall blocks, and if it's only a quarter of a meter, that's 25 centimeters. So, like, that might actually work pretty well, I think. I go all the way up to the edge like that, all the way down to the edge like that. Can I continue to fill it up? Yes. Oh, doesn't quite sit well. That's right. I'll have to go underneath and make sure all the water underneath is taken away as well. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's get my hay bales, go down here and sort out this gobbledygooky mess down here. Grab all of that. Thank you very much. And clean it up. Yep, nice and clean. Oh, well, there's a lot of water down here, though. All right, just give me 2 seconds. I'll clean all of this. My hay will mop up anything. One little droplet of water left over. Quickly pick you up. There we go. All right, I think we're looking... Oh, there's one down here. How'd you get down here? Oh, no, whatever. I'll ask no questions. You tell me no lies. But we're looking pretty good. That's nice and calm surface as well. It's ticking up a little bit so you can still shoot through it. All right, interesting. Now, does it slow me down? Oh, it does, but when you get right to the tippy top, 25 centimeters of water is not enough to slow down a Jeff. So they kind of get a little bit of a speed up here and there, but maybe that's because it's me and I'm sprinting and it's not really working as it should. So let's get a couple of zombie dogs. Let's get you. Let's get all your attention. All right, how is this going to work? How are you guys going to try and get through this trepidatious assault? Yep, they're in, and... I mean, I think they're going pretty slowly. They're still sticking their heads a little bit more than normal, which is nice. Look, before I was having to try and hit them in the top of the head, but now I can just kind of hit them right between the eyes when they poke their mutts out. But like the dipping and diving and dodging and ducking is what's giving me a bit more issues than anything else. Let's get, but let's not spawn them over there. Let's go like down on the very end there. Let's get some crawlers, a couple of crawlers, get them down there as well, get their attention, because I want to know. Because they're the main... Oh, now look at them. See, look. It's only where, like, you can kind of see them when they poke their heads up. Let's get rid of you. When they're kind of going up that slope, they pop their heads out again. But for the most part, they're still well underneath the surface, and you can't quite see them. Get rid of that dog. You see them on top of a crawler. Yeah, look. You can't see them in there at all. Right, my plan didn't work particularly well. Especially when they go up that little ramp, they still don't poke their heads out. That is a bit of a shame. Ah, well, it was worth a shot, though. We tried, I mean, it's as close as I can get to a 3/4 block, and it still didn't work out. I'm gonna revert this back to just the half block floor. So all it is like a single block, like a main block underneath, and then some half blocks over the top. And I haven't really used that many blocks to actually do this. Maybe, I mean, I've been using like different specialty blocks as well. How many ramps have I used? What, almost 100 ramps, and I mean, I've built a couple of these things, and I've only used, what, like 70 half blocks and almost, 300 regular blocks, so it's not that resource intensive, not compared to some of the other stuff, and I've also built this a lot bigger than what you probably need. You could definitely shorten this little water runway here and make it a little bit better. I need to think of a name for this. I mean, the last one was the Pool of Death. That was deeper. That was a pool. I'm not sure I could call this, like, the Pool of Death again, or if it's gonna be like the Rapids of Death, or the Stream of Death, or the River of Death, or I don't know. The Kiddie Pool of Death? That's actually pretty funny. I might use that one. I'm not sure yet. Later, Josh, can't figure that out. That is your problem, boy, not current Josh's. So I've got a little Kiddie Pool of Death over there now. That's gonna stick with my head now, isn't it? Let's get the water. Let's put that back in. And then we need to do one last little look over to see if we can improve it in any way. Any easy kind of adjustments we can make that'll make life a little bit better for us. And then if we can't think of anything, it's time to send a Horde down this bad boy and see how it goes. I'd allotted a lot more time to testing this. I've only been going for like 45 minutes, but I wasn't expecting the first idea to work so well. But it's worked amazingly well, so much better than I was really expecting it to. And now I just don't really feel the need to tinker with it too much. I'm onto a good, you know, if you're on a hot table, you don't leave the table. I've got a good hand. I'm just going to play it out to the end and see what happens. I couldn't really think of much. The only thing I think I might want in here is a kind of a way to stop the zombies from getting on each other's heads and skipping all of the water down here. So I'm building like something like this. But I just don't know if that's gonna like block what they think is a valid path. It shouldn't. There's one, no, that won't do it at all, will it? I don't think so. There's 2 solid blocks here, but one of those, that one there, is taken up with water. Let's give it a red hot crack, shall we? Let's get a couple of Chelseas out there. Let's get their attention, and they're gonna come up and try and fight me. Yep, straight in. Oh god, they're quick in here too. Oh boy, they move rather swiftly in the old water arenas. They did not give a shit about all the work I put into this. Maybe I need to do a bit more testing with that. Let's get a couple of Chelseas out there. Let's get them to stop, and we'll go down here and we'll see how they go. Did they not get slowed down by that at all? I mean, they're still pretty quick, but they're not as quick as normal. They are, like, Chelsea's like a pretty slender build, and she's pretty athletic. I mean, she's a cheerleader. She does a lot of work on her cardio and her midsection, so she really books it when she wants to. But she's pushing through that mighty quickly. I still feel like that's slower than normal though. Look how fast she runs away. Yeah, look how fast she is on the ground. She's so freaking quick down there. Alright, so it definitely slows her down, which is good. Can you stop, please? Oh, she's ducking and weaving inside the pool. That's not allowed. No turning in the braking zone, Chelsea. That's like FIA rule 1. I mean, unless you're Max Verstappen, then you can do whatever you damn well please down there. But, I think that worked pretty well. That should stop the zombies getting on each other's heads down there when they get slowed down and jumping on each other. Let's just go like this and we'll make like a full like proper tunnel and make something kind of nice, you know? Let's make it a proper tunnel of death rather than just an open air atrocity that I make every other time. I couldn't really think of much else, so I'm going to put in something a little bit spiffy in here, and I'm going to give myself some lighting. Given this is going to be going on at night time, I want to be able to see what's actually happening in here. So let's get some fluoros. Why not? Because it's going to go in the center of that block up there, like that, and like that, and like that. So that should be pretty good. Now we'll just bang on some power, and that should light up the world pretty nicely for me, I think, actually. I could replace, actually, just some of these ones here with a solar array, but why not just go for some batteries? Just for now, we can replace the batteries down the road if we ever need to get some better ones. I would like some level 6s though, because level 1s don't have the capacity in them to last a whole night, in my experience. Get 6 of those, that'll do. Alright, let's wire this up. Let's get it all gleaming and shining and awesome. Then we can start sending some zombies down and see if it'll stand up to a horde. There we go, they're all wired up, looking nice and schmick. That looks pretty good, actually. It makes the water nice and blue. Let's get the drops loot out of the way. Let's grab some loot out of that. Any zombies coming in as far as I can see? Not really. Alright, I think with the lights on, let's just see what it looks like in the dark, because that's going to be the most important part. About 3 AM is normally the darkest. How's that going to look? Oh, that looks lovely. That looks perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Nice little strip of lighting down the middle so you can see all the zombies. It also makes it easier to see them when they're in the water too. That's definitely a good addition. Happy with that. Alright. I think it's time to bring a horde in. Get ready. I'm going to try and fight it with just a bow. You know, let's just go a wooden bow. I'll give myself a wooden bow and maybe some steel arrows because, I mean, look, it's kind of a trade-off, I suppose. If you're going into horde night, you're going to need some decent arrows. But if you can hold off a horde, especially at this level, with nothing but arrows, and I feel like you're doing pretty well for yourself. Let's just get rid of all of these. Got way too much gubbins, way too much blocks on me. Everything in. Alright, that should do it. And then we can start the horde. Alright, here we go. Coming up to 10 o'clock at night, which means the horde is about to come in. Oh, there we go. It starts like there. I'll just turn it down to like, right about there. So it still goes a little bit quickly, but not so quickly that I can't actually do anything with it. Right, it's me, a bow. I did give myself a pistol as well as kind of like the oh shit option as well, because that's, I mean, I always have one of those. They're moving. Oh, that's good. That's good start. Man, the wooden bow. I haven't used the wooden bow before, and I think I might use it forever because it just feels really good. Wow, that's really got some pepper behind it. I quite enjoy that. But the important thing here is, look how slow all the zombies are moving. And more importantly, they're all like cruising up in. Oh, no. Except for spider zombies. Not okay, dude. Not okay. That's what the oh shit pistol is for. Right, need to figure out a way to stop the spider zombies coming through. In fact, can everyone just stop? Just give me 2 seconds just to kind of figure this out. How am I going to stop a spider zombie getting across? Maybe some iron bars might do the trick. Iron bars like this. Grab some of these and go and just bang them onto the roof over here. That might be the best option, you know. Can I go like that? Yep, there we go. And all across there. I mean, I still got a 2-block gap there for the zombies to get through. I should still see it as an option, but it should stop a spider zombie from jumping across. Just to make sure of that, let's get a spider zombie, spawn you out there, so there is actually one for me to test against. Alright, start the horde. Everyone's keeping on going again. Let's keep on tracking. Oh, there's a dog back there. Damn it, Ali, you caught the arrow in front of the pup. Oh, you can't shoot the arrows through the water. Ah, interesting. So only bullets through water. That's right. That's why having that little, like, the peekaboo moment at the end is good. Uh-oh. Spider. Spider, please. Oh, okay. We're going to have to figure out something for the spider zombies. This might take a little bit more, like, refining, which will take a little bit of time. You just let them completely whiff and jump over the whole lot. That works, too. The hardest is definitely hitting the dogs, because you can't hit the arrows while they're in the water. Like, even though their heads are poking out, it still doesn't actually count as you hitting it. Look at this. Like, look at that. Ooh. Alright, I've been proven wrong by myself. I take everything that I just said back very, very quickly. So you have to get the shot right, but if worst comes to worst, oh, you need to stop doing that. You're so annoying when you do that. I hate it when you do that. If you get the shot right, you can hit the dogs pretty easily, like at the end there, or you can try and take a gamble on the long shot down the end over there. Either way, you can still kill them and they're not going to get across to get you, and they're nice and slow. I mean, yeah, it's actually pretty good. Maybe... So the spider zombies only jump when they have a spot they think they can land on in front of you. So if you stand right in the middle here, I think that might stop them going for their jump, or at least make them jump from further down the wall. Yeah, like that. Yes, and straight down. Okay, so it totally works. You're just going to be in the right spot, which isn't like the base I like. I like being able to move around in some of my base and still have it work as per normal. But if spider zombies out. You wanna fucking not, birdie boy? You wanna leave me alone, please? That's not cool. You can't come in, start gouging out my eyes. I know it's Horde night. That's just a little rude. I'm over here trying to talk to people, and you're trying to get in my way. But yeah, like if it's just the spider zombies that are the weakness that you have to stand in a certain spot for, that's not so bad. And more importantly, while I'm up here, it seems like they're just ignoring the pillar for the most part. They kind of turn around and run the other way after bidding on it for a second. But that's just kind of how the AI works now. If it was a little bit taller and the pillar was a little bit further away, that wouldn't happen. But this whole area here is set for a renovation down the track anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. That'll have to happen later on. Put myself back up onto the top, keep on firing arrows into the crowd. This is working perfectly, and they're all slowing down, they're all in a line. This is everything that we wanted this base to be with water. I mean, having like a water feature increases the coolness by like 10-fold. Because I know that I have to stand in the center to avoid the spider zombies, it's making me think that maybe it might be a good option to go back to the shoot corridor, where like it was the 3 wide, but I had the wedge tips pushing them into the middle. It means you'd have that nice solid line going, but if you're using the penetrator perk, which I just recently discovered is not as good as it used to be, which kind of takes the allure away a little bit. But to make those shots just a little bit easier, aim into one spot, everyone comes down the channel of lights. I might even test that in another episode down the track a little bit, because this design by itself works perfectly. It's fine for me. I only made it 3 wide for like the later idea that I want to test out down the track, but this works perfectly. I like it. I like it a lot. And look, we got through the horde. The only real issue we had was a vulture coming and stabbing me in the face. That's because this part hasn't been built properly. But other than that, it's been spick and span and perfect. The horde is dead, which would mean that normally I'd be able to like go in here and start raiding, getting all my arrows back, raiding all the loot bags that have been dropping around the place, of which there are not really any. The arrows all stuck in the wall. Man, those lights were a good idea. I kind of want to go and like replace some of the blocks on the side with some rampy goodness, because I mean, after all, if I'm going to start turning this into like a shoot where they're getting pushed into the middle, that threw me away. Look at that. Oh, and the lightning strike at the right time too. That looks so imposing and so good. I love that. I love how these things look sometimes. Like against the rich red backdrop, that just makes that look even cooler. Oh, I really like that. It looks like a ruin you stumble across. Like the survivors have been here before, and you're finding their old designs. I really like it. But there you go. Let's just get out of this and let's turn it back into daylight again, so we can all see everything. That worked exceedingly well. I think I'll still call it the pool base. It's the Alpha 18 Pool of Death. Using the water to slow them down is still your best option. Now, there's no barbed wire. You got to go with something like this. But there we go. That will work perfectly. That is the best option I can think of right now for keeping yourself safe. So I'm gonna have to leave this episode here and come back and do some renovations and build some other cool stuff in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to this channel follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.